Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Brass Monkey X. So I just wanted to do a quick video. I got a lot of stuff to do this weekend, but I wanted to show you guys that last week I picked up a 3D printer. Now, I never thought I would get into something like this. I'm not very tech savvy, if you know what I mean, but I could not pass up the price on this. I found this on Amazon last week. There was a lightning deal. So I picked this up. It's the Creality Halot 1. I paid $135 for this 3D printer. Now, $135, why would anybody not purchase this thing if you're into minis? If you go on Hero Forge, after shipping and taxes and everything, a mini is going to cost you like 40 bucks. So for the price of 3 minifigures, I got myself a 3D printer and I can make an infinite amount of minis now. So I just wanted to show this off real quick. So this is my new 3D printer. I also picked up this here. This is the resin that I'm using. It's a water wash resin because I don't want to have to mess with alcohol. It seems like a pain in the butt to me. So when I'm done with my minis, all I do is take them to my slop sink and I just wash them off under the water. Like there's no alcohol involved at all. It's great. I also picked up a makeshift curing station, if you will. I'm not going to go grab it. It's on the other side of the garage right now. It's basically just a UV light and a little UV stand that spins in a circle. So you put your mini on top of it. The UV light dries it off. But I wanted to show you guys my first attempt at making minis here. So last night, well, yesterday all day I was trying this out. And I made these 2 models. Now this is the first one that I did, and I pretty much screwed this up. When you're making a mini, you take an STL file, and then you have to convert that STL file so that your specific 3D printer can read it. And when you do that, you do it in a program called a slicer. Now, when I put this in the slicer, I forgot to add supports to this model. So the problem was it didn't print part of the model. I'm missing arms, I'm missing parts of weapons, I'm missing the rest of his armor here. On top of that, I over-cured it too when I was done. I left it on the curing station for, I don't know, half an hour or so. And that's why it turned yellow like this. As you can see, the one that I did properly is still white. From what I read, you only need like 1 to 5 minutes in order to properly cure one of these things. But this was the first one I did. I screwed it up, so I went back into the file. I added supports where I needed them, and this was the result. Now, it's hard to see because my camera sucks, but the detail on this is actually pretty good. Like, you can see his face and everything. Like, he's got eyeballs in there. Like, I know this camera is not doing it justice. But I am very happy with the way these turned out. I didn't think I was going to get very good quality, but these are actually really cool. Once I get them primed up and I get some paint on these, I think they're going to look awesome. Now, this is a character I created a long time ago, back when I used to play World of Warcraft. This was my main character. His name was Meat Tank. He's a dwarven warrior. And I said, no, the first thing I have to print on this thing has to be Meat Tank. There's no way I'm not doing that. I even created him for Dungeons and Dragons as well. But the difference with the 2 of these is, like I said, I cured this one for way too long. Hence why it turned yellow. And it's a little more brittle. Like if I push too hard on some of these parts, they'll probably pop right off because I over-cured them. But the thing with the base is, the base on this one turned out way better. As you can see, the one that I did with the supports, the base actually warped a little bit because the one on the left, the one that I first did that I screwed up, the base for the model was attached directly to the plate on the 3D printer, and it came out much straighter. This one here, okay, that's the one that I did with the supports. This was the bottom support. So the model was sitting on top of here, like this. So the bottom support came out really well, which it doesn't do me any good, but it actually warped the base of the model a little bit, which I'm a little upset about, but I mean, it's not that big a deal. I just have to play with the settings and figure it out still. And I'm sure over time my model making is going to get a lot better. But also a bonus to using the supports. This thing here, the bottom support that he was sitting on, that's actually going to make a really cool terrain piece. I'm going to use this to make like spiked pit traps. I thought that was like a cool little bonus. So I'm going to paint that up, see how that looks. Use that as well. Don't let anything go to waste, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that I do have a 3D printer now. I'm not only going to be using it for minis, I may also try making some gun parts with it. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I have to look into the legality of all that. But I think that's going to be pretty fun too. I'm going to look it up and see what else I can actually do with this 3D printer. It's kind of cool. I really do enjoy doing this. It's a very timely process. And like I said, I am not very tech savvy, and figuring these things out it's kind of a pain in the butt for me. Like I was saying, you have to get an STL file. So I made these on HeroForge, and then you can download the STL file from HeroForge. Now that STL file has to go into another program, which I didn't know all this when I first got my 3D printer. So you take your STL file, you download it into another program called a slicer, and then that changes it into a readable format for your specific 3D printer. And then in the slicer, you can add the supports, you can adjust all of the settings for these things. Like every time I do it, I can adjust the settings and see how the print comes out any better or not. See if the models can get a little more detail. I can see if I can get rid of that little waviness in the base there. But again, like I said, I'm not a very techie kind of guy, and this isn't really my thing, but this is something that I actually do enjoy doing. It was really fun. So guys, if you're like scared of new technology, kind of like I am, don't be. If you can invest in a 3D printer and you're into making mini models and stuff, I say go ahead and do it. This Creality Halot, I guess it's pronounced, it's really affordable. It's a great way to get into doing 3D printing. Again, I only paid $135 for this thing. There was a lightning deal on Amazon. You can't go wrong. The resin, most of the resins on there are less than 20 bucks. I'm sure there may be a difference in the quality of the resins. I'm not sure. As far as the curing station goes, I paid $19 for the curing station. Now you don't even need a curing station. You could just leave these things out in the sun for a couple hours and they should be fine. But I think the curing station really does help, because to just put this thing under a light for 1 to 5 minutes is a lot easier, especially if you're going to be doing like entire armies and stuff. But yeah, guys, that's just a quick look at my new 3D printer. I'm sure you're going to be seeing a lot of this stuff on my channel now. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.